Toast.
What?
Toast, what do you have for us?
You know when people mention isekai, or not isekai? Yeah. When people mention isekai, what are the big three? What are the big three that
Big three.
The
Uh,
big three? I have
pioneer
no
the
idea.
generation?
Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto.
Correct.
So
What
true.
that guy said.
It started with Sword Art Online, and is it three? Hold on, let me count. One, two, three. I don't know. Is it three? Inspire, do you think it's three or four of the big three of isekai that started the genre?
Just- I sh- I am not enough. I mean, I do consider myself a little bit of scholar, but I'm not sure if I would consider myself enough of the expert to expound on that sort of opinion.
The big three of shosetsu. You wouldn't say that?
The creation myth of Isekai.
The creation bit? No, I don't know about that. I
Okay,
would
so
have to do more.
there's Slime Tensei. That's an old head that got a recent anime or that got an anime adaptation. There's Mushoku Tensei. That's also another old one.
I would say Mushoku Tensei is probably like the one that most people would be like, "Oh, that's pretty old."
Really?
Um,
What
I-
else? I'm not gonna say smartphone. No. What else?
Smartphone is not very old, right? Like I- it can't be. God, it can't be older than like 2016 at best, right? Like that's not.
Smartphone is 2013, but who cares about smartphone?
Jesus Christ, bro. That's
What?
such like a
Mushoku
vapid
Tensei.
series.
What else? Remonster. Was Remonster on Shosetsu? I don't think I remember. I don't think it
Remastery
was.
was on Shosetsu. It was on Shosetsu or Alpha Police. It was on one of
Dude,
the two.
without Remonster, we wouldn't even have Slime Tensei.
God,
Yeah,
I
and
fucking hate this.
one of the old heads that I've actually been following for the better half of a decade,
Mm-hmm.
almost a decade.
Uh-huh.
All of those plus another one, and that would be the New Gate,
The new game. When did
which
this
is
come out?
2013. It's
Is the new
also
2013.
gate
also a
older
Ninja
than
one.
Gate or newer than Gate?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. You know what's really frustrating? Okay, so for the longest time, like, cause I knew of the existence of Gate before, right? And then when the new Gate came out, I was like, "Is this like a sequel?
Like
What
a
is
sequel?
happening?"
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
when I
yeah,
heard
yeah.
the new Gate, I was like,
That's
damn, are
so
they doing a
frustrating.
sequel to Gate? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah,
Gate
And then I saw
Gate
this and I was
is
like, oh, no, no, it's not.
Gate is
yeah.
2006. So yes, it
Uh-huh.
is technically the New Gate,
Oh
which is
god.
funny because they, I don't know why it's called the New Gate. There is no gate at all. Like the
Hmm.
only gate is a door that
Okay.
that you see in episode one at the very beginning, but that's it. But apparently, the New Gate is just the name of the MMO because,
Okay.
yeah, it's following in the footsteps of the what is it, the SAO arc where the New Gate is a life or death MMO, and if you die in the game, you die in real life
Yeah, it's
because
following the
10,000
footsteps of Sao
players.
by having Kirito with red trim.
Yeah, I'll get to that, but yeah. So it's a death game. People got trapped in the game, and in order to get back to the real world, you must clear the game.
Mhm.
So we have our main character, Shin, who is a black swordsman. Literally, just
Nice.
he wears black and he's got a sword, and
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need to be cool, bro. Like, what the fuck?
he beats a monster that specifically gives me very it gives me Gleam Eyes vibes because it kind of looks like Gleam Eyes, and
Okay.
Shin fight. You know who Gleam Eyes is, right?
No.
What? How dare you, Spire? Gleam Eyes is like the most iconic Sao monster.
Duh.
It's
That's
the 74th floor boss in Sao where Kirito where Kirito unveils his secret dual wielding skill and solos it.
I
Remember?
it's been a
Literally
very long
everybody knows this, Spire.
Why do you think it's
I
called the Green Eye
apologize.
Spire?
I will attribute it to my loss of memory. I apologize. Uh, uh,
Yeah. So
can
so he
can
beats what?
so do you mind if I like really quickly like go over the kind of setting? So it says here, right? The premise: the new game is an online life or death game with tens of thousands of players. So this series is already in media res, where everybody kind of stuck in this game, where in this like VR MMO game, right? Or
Yeah.
is this like a
So
s-
let me continue. So Shin solos the last floor boss, final boss of the game, and he comes
okay?
across a gate.
Okay.
And then when he enters the gate, bam, he comes out, and instead of or is it a gate? I don't know. But yeah, it
So
was a gate. And then when he enters
yeah.
the gate, he comes out, and people. It says there's the what is it? The system announcement. Oh, now you're able to log out. But when Shin touches the gate, he gets transported to the game world. But it's like what several hundred years later,
Mhm.
and for him, when he opens up his status window, he can't log out. That happens because he's basically isekai'd into the game world. What is it? Several hundred years from in the future, 500 years in the future. So it's an
Okay.
Didn't this
overlord
happen?
situation.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say, isn't
This
that
this
exactly
has
what happened to
happened in a
Overlord?
couple of this has happened in a
Pretty
couple
much
of
most
series
like
by now.
isekai MMO like things at this point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
always
yeah.
like, yeah, now it's 100 years in the future.
I think in the land of Leodale, you had like
Same
very
thing, yeah.
similar thing. Yeah, yeah.
But
Yep.
she died in real life and went to the game. In this one, Shin got transported after he
Yeah,
cleared the
yeah, yeah,
game,
yeah. He
and
killed
like,
somebody else, and then he isekai them too, and then he isekai himself. Like
oh
that's
yeah,
just yeah.
and that's where the story starts. It's a
Okay.
combination of Sao, where if you where you die in the game, you die in real life, plus isekai. So would
But
I
like in
say
this
this
case,
is the origin of isekai?
case, yeah. In this case, the whole like previous whatever the tens of thousands of players online life or death that like doesn't matter, right? Because that's just like a episode one setup for where he is now, right?
It kind of matters in the backstory of the game because
Okay. Okay.
the players that used to be in like what 500 years ago, the players were known as what high humans. There's like this,
Yeah. Okay.
they're like a special breed of
Yeah, that like
players.
standard. Yeah, that's a very standard kind of thing where it's like the player characters are put in like they're sort of revered, quote unquote, in the history of
Because they're
the
they're
game
much
story.
stronger than the
Yeah,
ordinary
yeah, yeah, yeah,
citizens
yeah.
of this world. This
Yep.
is also like the same thing with Overlord, where
Yeah.
well, players players were much stronger than current NPCs because they had access to this tier of magic, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just
They have a
stuff
bunch
of
of
legends
stuff like that.
nowadays.
Yeah. They have
But
that
yeah,
in Tsukimichi too, I think, as well. Yeah.
really.
Yeah, yeah.
But Tsukimichi is not is not a Life or Death game.
Well, it's not like
I
a
wouldn't
VR
count
Here,
it.
yeah, it's not
Shangri-La
a
Well,
is
it
VR
is.
here,
MMO
but the
It
isekai.
sun is
Yeah,
is.
near.
It is.
yeah.
But or no, hold on. No, that's Death March. I'm thinking Death March. I'm
No, you're
sorry.
thinking that's more. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it is not a VR MMO or isekai, but it is an isekai. Yeah,
But yeah. So and then
yeah.
yeah, that stuff. What else? Uh, uh, I mean, for the plot, it turns out Shin is not just a swordsman. He's the he's the proprietor of a he's the proprietor of a place called the Moon, what is it, the Moon Shrine, which is
Okay.
it's this famous shop on the outskirts of town that's used to be run by a high human and whatnot,
Okay.
which is him, and it's like this it's this famous shop where you can access stuff from the stuff of legend by going here, and it's run by it's run by his companion NPCs. Uh, Schnee Rysar, which was an elf, and she's like, she's still alive because she's an elf, 500 years and whatnot. So she's I would count her as the main heroine of the series and whatnot. And then yeah, Shin goes on adventures, whatnot. It's pretty. The plot is pretty standardish. It's just Shin exploring the world, trying to find out what happened, and to see if any other players are still alive and whatnot.
How important is that sort of like I'm going to find the other guys? How important is that to the constant sort of
It's
episodes
I
in
would
the
say it's the main crux of this series because he was the leader of this famous guild of uh what's the word? What's the word? Is it life skillers or whatever?
Okay.
Oh, for
Um
like crafting and stuff.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
leader of like the famous crafting guild, and then they have their own guild house, and the members of his guild were like each specialized in um, various things. Like he's a blacksmith, so the Moon Shrine is his blacksmithing shop. And then there's like this famous tamer, and was it the tamer has this floating castle house, and that's like inaccessible to the world. And it's like all this stuff of legends and whatnot, and a bunch of other characters. So he's trying to find his guild members, see if anyone's still around, and he encounters other players that have also been transported, and yeah, and whatnot. That's the main crux of the story. He's just trying to. It's an overlord situation where he's trying to see who else is alive and whatnot in the game, and trying to figure
Okay.
out what to do from there. Yeah.
So
So
whenever like the mini arc or whatever, like the current mini arc, whatever concludes, it's kind of always like, okay, well, I either the mini arc is connected to him trying to find out more about like what happened, or he like immediately kind of resumes like going back to trying to find more about like what happened to his companions, right? Is that how I should take it?
I guess because the
Is
mini
this the
arcs are like,
structure of it?
hey,
Yeah.
because this is old stuff, but the structure is, hey, he does this thing, and it's connected to he does this thing and whatnot. But yeah, I believe the main crux of the story right now is he's trying to find his all of his NPCs,
Uh-huh.
his companions and whatnot. Shanae being like the first one because she's the closest one nearby, and then he's also got a dragon dude and whatnot, and some others. See if they're still alive because it's what 500 years later, so not all of them have long lifespans, and they're all of various races. So yeah, it's also a Leodale situation where how old is Leodale? Is Leodale also of this generation? Land of Leodale, right? It's also in. No, it's 2020. Never mind.
Yeah, Land of Leodale was very recent, I think.
But yeah, I guess the main thing is he's looking for his companions and whatnot.
Yeah.
His companions
Okay.
first, and then like see if any other players are still around.
Okay.
I would say that's the actual main crux of the story, and stuff that
So
happens.
he eventually gathers up a band of compatriots to help him while he's like doing on his journey, right? Or what?
Yeah, but Shnae's the main one, and then there's Shnae's an elf, but I don't know. He picks up who's
Okay.
a second elf named Tierra, who's I guess do I want to call her a
Never-
disciple of Schnee because
Oh, I thought you were about to
well
say like this is like an elf slave or something like that. Like
no,
okay. Okay.
she's more like a shopkeeper because while Schnee is running around doing stuff because 500 years is a long time, so she's off being a legendary hero or whatever because she used to serve a high human. So
Okay.
she has Tierra. Tierra's when sh- when Shin goes back to after Shin goes to the gate, he's like, oh. where am I? I guess I'll just head home. And he goes to his shop. Tierra's a shopkeeper there, and she's like, "Hey, you can't come in here. This is a specialty shop that you need this access code to be here." And he's like, "Oh, okay. What if I told you I have that?" And she's like, "No, you lie." And then there's a whole thing like, "Oh, you're actually the shopkeeper or the owner of this shop, whatever." And he lets her stay
Uh-huh.
there. And there's some other stuff. But yeah, I guess
Okay.
Tierra's there just to be because she's a new generation NPC. How do I call them? What are they called in Overlord? The current like generation of NPCs that were born in the game and whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um.
Where am I going with this? Nowhere. But yeah,
But so this is mostly just mini arcs, right? It's not like an
yeah,
episodic kind of thing. Okay. And for the most part it is just like a journey, like it's like mini arc composed of obviously defeating like villains or finding out whatever, but it's like journey from place to place kind of thing, right? It's not he's
yeah.
not there's no like soul life in some town where he's like,
Oh,
"Ah, I got a sunny farm shit." Yeah, okay, okay. And
yeah.
he's also is he already pretty much max level, like, ultra ubermensch, or it does is
What do you
he
expect, Spire? He's got a special title called the Liberator
well,
because he
I was
cleared the
just wondering if
game.
he, like, after getting thrown back into the future, he would have to start all over, but he has, like, a growth cheat or something like that. I was
No,
just
he has all his
wondering.
stuff. I mean, I
Okay,
just
okay,
said
okay, okay.
he has his blacksmith shop and
Okay, okay.
everything and all the items in there. And Tierra's like, "Oh, how can you access this? How
Alright.
can you access the back of the shop? It's highly restricted. Even I can't get in there." And he's like, "Oh, it's because I own it and all the stuff in there." And I still he has basically everything he did in the game plus more and
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, he's super overpowered and because you know what he's from back then. He's from 500 years ago. High human. I got all this stuff.
Okay.
Very much like how very much like how Kirito was when he went to Alfheim.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
When
as
he
much as it
Kirito got
hurts me to
double
say it,
isekai, and he's like,
uh
"Oh, most of his stuff was jumbled, but he still had all his skills."
as much as it hurts me to say it, and this shouldn't be, how do I say it? Um, my opinion is that this sort of stuff should not be rewarded in this genre, but or in this, I guess,
But Spire,
industry in general.
they have a good excuse. He wasn't he max leveled before
You
this,
don't
and
care
he
what
just got
excuse the
transported
author
later,
has.
so it makes sense. I forgive it.
Yeah, but y- as much as it pains me to say this, if we have seen many, many times that this crowd who is willing to read isekai stuff is willing to gobble up the same sort of slop many, many times in a row. For instance, there's this review right now on my anime list, like the top review or whatever it is, where it's like really enjoying this so far. Blah blah. Take Sword Art Online. Replace Kirito. Give all players companion NPCs, and then let the world go on after the players log out or whatever. Blah blah blah. Now enter OP years later and actually go on to the blah 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 blah. If you want a bog standard isekai with an OP hero, where the isekai actually has a point to the plot, then go for it. Good for an isekai, obviously. By the way, he's really enjoying this so far, and he also called it a bog standard isekai.
I really love slop. I love slop.
Hey man, who you quoting,
But,
Spire? Who you quoting?
the if you go onto the Miami list, it is like the first review on the page.
How dare you say that, Spire? Because it's all true.
Yeah.
It
Oh my
is
god.
pretty bog
A standard.
standard
Yeah.
for
But
everything. But I also like it. So,
yeah.
but I've also
Uh
been following this for the better part of a decade. So what am I talking about?
yeah.
What else?
Can you talk a little bit about the audio visuals as well as
And
OPD?
here we get to the good part. The audio visuals
Okay.
are low average.
Below average?
Low average.
I thought you were about to be like, yeah, the
Oh, well.
animations are pretty good, but you're like,
I
nah,
was gonna
these are
say, isn't this
Yeah,
the
these
this
real.
are
is
these are.
the series that has like really bad fucking CG, right? Like people were posting clips
Oh
of.
fuck,
Wasn't
that's
that this
unfortunate.
series?
Huh?
I don't know.
I
I
think I'd
Are you
seen
talking about are you talking
clips.
about the dragons?
Yeah, isn't that this?
No, that was
no.
Demon King Academy.
Oh, okay. I thought that was this
Yeah.
series.
Okay.
I want it so
Oh, never mind. This series,
there's
the PV just looked like ass. Never mind.
Yeah. What studio is this again?
it is Cloud
There's
Hearts and Yokohama Animation Laboratory.
Yeah, I
Cloud
think
Hearts,
probably most. I don't know. I think Cloud Hearts is doing the CG and Yokohama Animation Lab is probably doing the main like bulk of the 2D work.
Right.
Is my guess, right?
I was
They're also collabing on fuck, what was this called again? The Yuri series, Whisper Me a Love Song.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
kind of interesting.
What else? They did Tawa Monday. They did Ice Blade Sorcerer, which
Oh, they did
and the Great.
Manjo Toyaju too, so they're capable of doing decent visuals.
No, they just like never got paid. Like so they're just
Yeah,
not
they're
getting paid
probably
probably.
just half-assing this.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's the animation's pretty stiff a lot of the time. That's what I want to say. The animation is very stiff
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Okay.
I want like in comparison, it's no Mushoku Tensei. Um, it's definitely no Knights and Magic. Uh, I
I
want
mean,
to say,
those are pretty high bars.
yeah. I
Yeah.
want. I'm trying to like paint a picture. It's definitely subpar compared to those. Subpar compared to Tsukimichi. Subpar compared to even Death March. Um, Slime. I want to say Slime Tensei. That's not as good as Slime Tensei either. Better than Mouse Sama Retry R. Uh, yeah.
Better is
I.
better than
It,
smartphone.
that's.
That bad, huh?
It's super. It's stiff. That's the main gripe I have.
Okay.
The animations are stiff sometimes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
the characters stay in model most of the time. I guess that's cool. Um, yeah, I guess I'll say it's better than smartphone.
How's the
Okay.
OPED?
That's OP's okay. I, nothing to write home about. ED's also okay. Um,
Okay. So
they're okay.
voice
The
acting.
ED's mostly Schnee, so that's a plus. Cool,
Yeah.
cool Alpha Maid. Just
Oh,
sitting
okay.
around looking wistful, waiting for Shin,
Well, you know,
and while being
that
sad.
does happen with the EDs. It's
It's
not, yeah, it's not an
500
uncommon thing.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Audio visuals there. Yeah, better than Mouse Sama retry, but it's stiff. So
Yeah,
I
it's not
want
too
to
much of
say,
a high bar, I think.
is it because the studio's new or whatnot? Because Cloud Hearts hasn't done many
I
films.
don't think it's junior. I
No,
think
bro,
there's also
yeah,
I
they're
think
just
it
throwing
says
this
yeah,
one
it says
in.
on ANN that Chiptune is was the main studio behind the 3D CGI, and Chiptune has done a lot of 3D and like animation assistant stuff, including with Ajin, with uh what it's it? Matsuka no Yome, right? Ancient Magus' Bride. They did uh they did some like Arifureta Bang Dream. They have like a Bill Drivers. They have a lot or yeah, they have a lot of experience. Again, I think it's just like they probably just didn't get much money for this project. Um,
Probably
you know.
because I see Ice Blade Sorcerer. And I remember now that I look back on Ice Blade Sorcerer, it looks better than this series.
Mhm. Yeah.
like by about 0.5 times margin. So when you say it probably didn't have much budget, that's
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's just like an unfortunate thing that happens with that. Like I like dumping on studios like that do bad work as much as the rest of them, but sometimes it's just like yeah, it's just like they probably didn't get enough money. Like one obvious thing where the studio obviously did a bad job is the Berserk. The infamous one is like the Berserk remake, right? Because the like
Huh?
you like
What do you
if
Hey,
you guys clearly got way too much money to do this level of work.
I don't
But
think they got. I don't think they did get money. I'm not gonna lie, but
they probably got a little bit of money at
I
least,
mean, they
right?
definitely got
It's like
more than they should have for what they
yeah, they
fucking put
more than they
out.
should have, I think is the big point.
But I
Yeah.
think it was a cheap production overall.
The money all went to Mira's Idolmaster spendings.
Yeah, based, I
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Well,
listen, they got
Yeah.
all the money, and they just like they wrote themselves checks at the end. They were like, "All right,
Yeah.
how can we spend the least
God.
amount of money to make this anime, and
Yeah.
then we just get bonuses at the end of the year?"
Yeah. God.
so yeah,
Anyway.
I guess that's a shame because I remember reading it back then that I really liked the character and the world building in this.
Mhm.
Yes, so yeah, I like the world setting. But it's because I do like my I do like my isekai into an isekai from a death game, and how they
Mhm.
build the world. It's just because I like Aincrad. Aincrad's super cool. But yeah, the world I like the world building in this. Not
Mhm.
so much. It's not so much how Shin overpowers everything because he's not a skill spammer or whatnot.
Okay.
You know, he solves stuff pretty quickly because he's he's overpowered compared to everyone else. But that's not, I guess, the main the main catch to this series. It's how the world and how he interacts with it because
Mhm.
he's the stuff of legends, and hey, how he interacts with NPCs nowadays. Because NPCs with that are was it NPCs that have are stronger than average. They're known as chosen ones, and that's how he's masquerading in this world. Because oh, you have this amount of skills and you're this level. You must be a chosen one.
Mhm.
But he's not a chosen one. He's a high human and whatnot. So it's about him interacting, meeting other people and whatnot.
Okay.
Wait, so
Yeah,
is he
that's
interacting with like? But there are no players, right? Like,
It's just the NPC characters who have come alive, quote unquote, come alive in the game.
yeah.
Not in the game, the isekai version of the game, essentially.
so
Yeah.
would it matter if he was a high hero or not? Like,
Well, that's like just part of the lore in the game now, essentially. That's how that works.
Players back then were called high humans because
Yeah.
or
It's like
high
high
they had
elves kind of thing. Yeah.
they had
Yeah. Yeah.
ridiculous like
Yeah,
skills
no,
and
I
levels
know. I'm
compared to
just
everyone
saying,
else.
it's like, but what does it matter if he needs to masquerade or not? Because aren't there are like none left?
Because they're the stuff of legends. The
Yeah,
famous
yeah, it's a standard like,
Schnee,
oh, you're
who's
so, like you were awesome before. Wow, you gotta keep your name
the
quiet or
famous
whatever it is.
Schnee
It's like the
who
Demon Lord at
served the
Academy
high
kind of thing.
humans
Yeah,
and is like
it's
known as a legendary hero in the world. She served high humans, so they're akin to gods and whatnot.
yeah,
So
it's like the Demon Lord in the Academy kind of thing, right?
yeah,
It's like
he
you
tones
gotta
it
hide
down,
that
saying,
shit.
"Oh, I'm just a chosen one, just like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys." Ha ha ha.
yeah.
But yeah,
God damn it. Yeah. I guess any last
uh,
overall thoughts, any last words?
voice actors.
Oh, voice
Shin
actors, yeah.
is
Yeah.
voiced by Kensho Ono. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
big name.
famous. Yeah.
Tiara,
Also,
the
Hanaka's
elf,
wife or husband rather. Yeah.
elf is Kaede Hondo. Schnee
Uh-huh.
is Asami Seto, and then
Yes. All famous of Seiyu. Yep.
there's the Lancer dude who looks just like Lancer, but he's blue.
Huh?
But Lancer's also blue. There's a dude who looks just like Lancer, but was wearing blue.
But
But
Lancer is blue.
exactly. There's a blue Lance dude. He's voiced by Shunya Hiruma,
Yeah.
who's I wouldn't voice a Lancer like that. Who's Lance's voice actor?
Um, good question.
Nobuto Shikana? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who else Nobuto Shikana voiced? Guts.
Guts.
Hell yeah. Real Guts, not fake Guts from
True.
Berserk 20s. 20s to 2017? How long has it been?
It's 2016,
Yeah.
I believe.
2016? Even worse.
Yes.
Kanahan
You
was
were?
in.
What a year.
Okay.
Kanahan was in this. But would I call her a minor character? I call her a minor character. Yeah. Where am I going with this? So some big name VAs in this. I don't know how they got them.
Yeah.
There was she was a priest, right? There was a priest that was voiced by
I mean,
Ishihara Kaori. That was cool.
yeah. I mean, these like famous like Seiyu, although they are famous, do tend to because they're not unless you're literally at the level of somebody like um Miyano Mamoru or Misuke Nana or Hanazao Kana, where you're actually considered S like this. These are people who I say are S plus tier Seiyu, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say people are like A listers. And what I mean by S listers is just like people who literally have like earned way too much money by doing voice acting are like
Yeah,
the
I mean
types of people who appear on credit cards. Like
they've
freaking
literally made it.
Hanazawa. Yeah,
Yeah, she has
yeah.
her own fucking debit card.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, all of these people are famous, but they constantly need to be out in the field looking for work because, obviously, they can get a lot of work when their momentum is up. But on the downturns, right? They might not get work, so they're always kind of scrounging out for a little series. I guess like smaller series like this is how that works. So,
To be fair,
um,
I think a lot of these really big, because if you notice, granted, my perspective is mostly skewed towards Kana Hanazawa, 'cause she's like the only Seiyu I actually follow.
uh-huh.
But like Kana Hanazawa has like she's made it, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
she pretty much never really needs to work ever again, right?
yeah,
Um, but right now, I'm pretty sure her main focus is her singing career, right? Like her albums and
yeah.
stuff. And I think
Why
she
is she a
takes.
VTuber?
That's a good question. I think she takes a lot of these smaller roles just to kind of keep her name in this sort of like
Yeah. Branding,
anime, sort of
branding.
otaku sphere. Like just keep her name in the minds of those people.
Yep.
Because obviously that boosts record sales, right? Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I think a lot of these bigger ones that have kind of like almost not necessarily moved on, but they kind of have like a very stable source of revenue other than the voice acting industry. They kind of just take these smaller roles. They probably,
Yeah.
you
And a
know,
lot of those roles are also kind of they help support
They should
the side
they
projects that they do.
they
yeah,
should do
Like
that to
Aoyuki,
support
for
their
instance,
YouTube
does like her
channel.
anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
But
Anyways, yeah,
yeah.
a lot of solid voice actors in this list, to be honest.
Overall, this is the most standard of standards with subpar animation. But you know what? I've been following this for over almost a decade, and I still like it. Not
But
the anime though.
what you would say is for those people who like this sort of more standard isekai, you would recommend them the source material instead of the anime, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
the anime's hindered by its really bad animation.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's not very stiff. The fight
Yeah.
scenes are very stiff. Like there's one time when Shin like jumps back, they just shrink the image. And it's
Yeah.
like it's like, oh please, it's not good. Like wow, he's
Okay.
jumping back, but the only thing moving is his tassels, and it's like his image is shrinking, and it does not look good.
God damn it.
that's
All
called peak,
right.
dude.
That's called budgeting out your animation, Nier. I
Yeah,
don't think you would
yep,
understand. Clearly not a cost
Called
analysis person, Nier.
yeah.
creativity.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyways, yeah. Yeah.
so I definitely recommend the actual series, the manga and
Yeah.
the light novel, but not the
Yeah.
anime so much.
Okay. Okay.
But even so, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because you know what? I like this series.
All
Leave me
right.
alone. Leave me
All right.
alone.
I don't think
I've
that's how
waited.
ratings work,
Alright.
but
I've waited so long. I've waited so long for Remonster and the new gate. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Alright,
It
well,
gets
yeah.
+2 bonus points from me.
Plus the bonus points because of the source material? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alright, well, I guess that's that then for
So
the
yeah,
new gate.
I still recommend highly checking out the actual stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
So if you do want to see this, I guess read this sort of isekai, please do check out the Newgate source material, light novels, or light novel, or I guess the respective manga adaptation. The anime adaptation is a little bit scuffed, I think, according to Toast.
A
So
little bit,
probably
huh?
not. Yeah, probably not best to watch it before you've checked out at least the source material.